Hello once again. In this lesson, we will talk about the integrative, holistic, or even alternative medicine and the concept of it and the view of it on the human being. And what is the difference between the normal or Western or allopathic way and this kind of Oriental, integrative, alternative medicine view? And one of the main thing that I want to tell you about the BioWell that it is actually based on those acupuncture points concept, and the biggest part of the software is based on that. But there is second part that is based not on the acupuncture point system, but on another view on the human being. It is Ayurvedic approach. In fact, the chakras or nervous centers tab, it has double name in our software, well, depending what you prefer the most. Chakras or nervous centers tab is based on Ayurvedic approach, not on the acupuncture point system approach, which is using all the rest of the software in all other tabs. So these two concepts, the acupuncture points and the Ayurvedic approach, are Oriental medicine sphere. And the acupuncture point system that we are using is Sujok, the South Korean system. While there are so many other acupuncture points systems in the world, as we discussed in the previous lesson, still the both approaches are teaching us that the interaction in the human being between all the organs and systems is quite complex. All the systems and organs are interconnected in one another way. There is a concept of 5 elements, those meridians. There are concepts of chakras and their interconnection between each other. And actually, this is the essence of psychosomatic approach, the understanding of connection between psychological state and the physiological state of the person. So we need to understand that the so-called Western approach, the approach where the human being is being dissected into separate organs and systems, and each of them is being diagnosed and analyzed separately from the rest, is quite different from the Oriental approach. And in BioWell, we are trying to combine all of this. So we have those sectors and we have the organs energy tab where we have those systems and all the organs that are included in them in BioWell software. But still, we're trying to build a bridge between the Western model of understanding the person and the human being functioning and the Oriental one. One of the biggest and most important concepts that we are using in education and BioWell is taken from Ayurveda. Because in order to really understand how the BioWell works and how the interpretation should be done, you have to change the mind, you have to understand the functioning of the human being from another perspective. And I will explain this concept. First of all, it's called 6 stages of illness development. And we will make lots of interesting conclusions from this principle and this concept that is originally taken from Ayurveda, from India. Let's go. So the concept of 6 stages of illness. And we will start from the last stage to keep it in an intrigue. So the 6th stage is the terminal stage, the last one. Actually, this is the time where person already has some acute disease. It's time to do surgical operations, take some antibiotics, steroids, I don't know, some heavy stuff. And it's too late to take some preventive steps. At this stage, it's already time where you yourself can usually cope with the illness and you need some external help from doctors. Allopathic medicine is mainly concentrated on this stage because usually people come to the doctors at this level when it's already they cannot do anything themselves anymore. But why do we get to this terminal stage is the 5th stage, the symptomatic level, where person has some already discomfort, some problems, some places in the organism, and maybe running nose, some headaches, migraines, pain, discomfort. And if you don't pay attention to the symptoms that you already feel in your body, anyway, after some time, you will get to the terminal stage. So most of the pills that we can buy in the pharmacy store, not all of them, but most of them are aimed onto this fifth level to kill the symptoms. If you read the description of the pill that you can buy there, in most of them it is even written that it is not intended to cure the disease, it is intended to get rid of the symptoms of the disease. So they tell the truth. And of course, in many cases, because our organism is a self-repairing system, sometimes getting rid of the symptoms gives you some kind of rest, pause from the illness, where your organism can recover itself. So it's quite useful. If you already reached the fifth stage, why not to take pills and get the external help? So the allopathic medicine is mainly concentrated on fifth and sixth stage. So the pharmaceutical companies are working on the fifth and sixth level. You get all those surgeries, injections, etc. Where do we get those symptoms from? According to this Ayurvedic concept, we get them from the excessive amount of toxins. Based on this concept, it means that if in any place in your body there are too much of toxins at any moment, it will create some symptom and some problem and illness afterwards. It doesn't matter in which part of the body, in the head area, in the torso, or legs, arms, it doesn't matter. So if there is too much of toxins, that means the normal chemical and physical processes will not happen as they should happen, and it will then lead to the problems, some discomfort, pain, etc., and will lead to your symptomatic stage. What can you do? Why the accumulation happens? You need. It means that the speed of creation of toxins is higher than speed of this. Let's say getting rid of the toxins from the body. Why do we get this balance between this speed of creation and speed of evacuation of toxins? It's because of the metabolic imbalances in the body. So it means that something, the metabolic means some chemical, physical processes are not being fulfilled properly. If you speak from the point of the energy medicine, you will name it not metabolic but functional or energetic imbalances. It doesn't matter. It's the same idea. Some processes are not being fulfilled as they should be, and it leads to this accumulation of toxins. So these kind of imbalances, due to lack of some materials maybe in the body, due to some physical injuries, maybe some muscle is too stiff or something like that, there is a blockage in the flow of lymph, blood, or nerves whatsoever. If we talk about levels 3 and 4, these are the main levels at which the integrative medicine doctors are working. They are actually, in fact, most of them are doing two things. They are either balancing you, either detoxing you, either both. So, for example, you are doing massage session, you are balancing the processes in the body because you do it on both sides. So the left-right disbalance gets to the norm because of the massage that you do. This is balancing effect. Second, because of the intervention that you're doing with the massage, the blood circulation increases, lymphatic circulation increases, and henceforth you get rid of toxins faster. So it's a detoxification effect too. So it means doing massage, you're helping the person on the third and fourth level. You're doing acupuncture with needles, same story, you are balancing and henceforth increasing the detoxification in many cases. You name it, different types of influences and therapies that are being offered in spa, in integrative medicine clinics, etc., by energy practitioners, most of them aimed on these two levels. It means that if you take these preventive steps on levels 3 and 4, you will never get to level 5 and 6. But still, we get these imbalances from somewhere. So we have 2 more levels left. Where do we get these imbalances? From our lifestyle. Because the way we interact with the world, the way we live, I'm talking not only on the physical level, but also psychological level, because we interact with the world on all these levels, plus mental level. All the thoughts that we have, all the emotions that we have, all the deeds that we do, they all lead to some consequences in the way we function. So, for example, we see it always rotated like that. It's our functional state, right? Such a rotated one that will lead to a metabolic imbalance after all. So then accumulation of toxins on one side, but being stressed constantly, and because of that stress, you get, after all, the adrenal exhaustion. So it will lead to this imbalance in the function of adrenals. And after that, it will lead also to the problems because the adrenals will not work as they should work. It will lead to those imbalances, then the toxins, and then the symptoms. So the lifestyle that we live always leads to specific imbalances that we have. Where do we get this lifestyle from? Of course, from the mindset, from our constitution, that is set of laws and rules that we have in our mind, according to which we live. So the number 1 level is the informational level. So this is our operation system, Windows, Mac, Linux, whatever you have installed. It's the operation system and the set of rules according to which you live. And because of these rules and this information, the firmware, that you interact with the world in a specific way, and you get specific imbalances that leads to accumulation of toxins, then symptoms and terminal stage. So this is the very important concept, explaining the interaction between the mind level and the physiological level. It's very important to understand this concept because one of the main conclusions from this concept is a saying, mind over matter. It means that mind predetermines the matter. So whatever you have on the material level is defined by your mind. This is big and very important conclusion, right? So if you want to change the way the person lives, you have to change the mindset of that person. Who works on these levels? Number 1 and 2, these are psychologists, hypnotherapists, just sages, wise people, maybe some even medical doctors who are not only giving prescriptions of pills, but also give some exercises that people need to make. They tell them how to live properly, what regime of the day they should live according to when they need to wake up, what kind of food they need to eat, etc. So people who are teaching you how to live correctly, they are acting on these 2 levels. They are trying to reprogram your mindset in order to change your lifestyle, right? So first conclusion that we need to remember is called mind over matter. Second conclusion, if we talk and we think about this concept and we think about short-term and long-term treatments that can be offered to a client, you need to understand and you have to explain it to a client that by going on a regular basis to a massage salon, but still sitting like that, will give you only short-term benefits. So it will balance you for a while, but because you didn't change the lifestyle and you're still sitting in a rotated position or bent position, then you will still get the problem with your vertebrae returning back after a while. So The massage sessions will be a short-term treatment, helping you to actually postpone the symptomatic and terminal stage. But still, if you will not change the way you live, the lifestyle, you will not change the posture in which you sit, the amount of movement that you have in your schedule and daily routine, you will have to return to a massage therapist on a constant, regular basis because their influence is short term. What is long term treatment then, based on this concept? The long term treatment is when you are trying to change the lifestyle and mindset. Well, changing the lifestyle without changing mindset doesn't make any sense. When people start changing their diet just because it's popular just now, everybody is doing this some weird stuff and start eating some weird stuff or following some specific diet, and it's become very popular and you are following the flow and you're doing it together with them, not because you have changed the mindset and understanding that why they're doing this, just because it's popular. You're changing the lifestyle without changing the mindset. What does it mean? It means that when the fashion will finish, you will return to your regular lifestyle. So you will just be jumping from one hype thing to another hype thing, and without actual changing of the mindset. So, for example, some healthy diet like vegetarian diet has become popular, or running in the mornings has become popular, and you are doing it together with your friends, relatives, whatever, and just because they run and you run, they stop running, you will stop running too, because you didn't start it because you understand the importance and significance of running in the mornings, for example. You are starting applying diet and excluding some bad stuff from your nutrition just because somebody has told you without understanding why you should do that. It will be still short-term influence, well, quite longer than just going for a massage session, while the effect of massage session can finish in 2 days. The effect of changing the lifestyle just because it's popular now will long for the time it is popular. Then you will return back. Sometimes it can happen with you for 1, 2 years, maybe 3 years, but then you will return back because the mindset didn't change. So actually the only lifetime, long-term change is when you are changing the mindset. You stop drinking alcohol because you understand the negative effect of the alcohol on your brain and your bloodstream, and for example for women on egg cells. And you stop because of this knowledge, changing of the mindset. And you will never return back to that, because why would you do that? Because you know these negative effects and you don't want to have them in your life. So it means that changes of the mindset and changes of the lifestyle are the main long-term treatments. So whenever, even if you're working with detoxification and balancing people, you still need to concentrate their minds on changing the lifestyle and understanding the correct lifestyle. That's why in Biowell software, our main tab now is the lifestyle tab, and showing and explaining to people how close they are to ideal lifestyle and henceforth ideal energetic state. One more thing, because we need to look at the human being from different perspectives. Based on this Ayurvedic approach, we understand these concepts of mind over matter, the long-term and short-term treatments. These are the principles that are listed in the 25 Principles Manual that you get together with this Level 1 course. One more concept that I would like to share to add to this integrative, holistic understanding of the human being is this one. So, of course, just forgotten to mention, this is physiological level, you can call it energy or functional level, and mental level. I think it's obvious, right? So what do you know about our body? How does it work? Actually, when we are giving some conclusions and recommendations to guidelines. We need to base these conclusions on some knowledge. And if you're an Ayurvedic doctor, you will base your conclusions on the Ayurveda. If you're acupuncturist, you will go for meridians and TCM, for example, Sujok, etc. But this concept that I would like to share it's not so popular and not so many people potentially know about it. That's why I'm willing to share it in this lecture. So what are the 4 systems of transferring signals in our body? The systems that are covering the whole body and transferring the signals there. I am not taking the skin as the transferring system. I would say it's rather a terminal through which these signals may go out. But there are 4 systems. And the interesting thing that 3 of them are worldwide known by anyone, even not medical doctors, and they're very simple because we hear about them on a regular basis, and most of the doctors are analyzing them. While the number 1 is the blood. The blood cardiovascular system, the blood vessels are covering all the body, right? Arteries and veins are there. So it is chemical way of transferring the signals. It's the slowest one. Second chemical way of transferring the signals is the lymphatic. Maybe some of you have never heard about the lymphatic system. They don't know too much about it. But the lymphatic system is also coming together with the blood system in parallel with it. And it's playing a role of detoxification, cleaning the body from toxins. And it's also a chemical way of transferring the signals. Slowest one. Chemical way of transferring the signals is the slowest one. The third system, everybody knows it too. It's the nervous system. It's already electromagnetic way of transferring. It's much faster than the chemical way of transferring the signals. So the nervous impulses reach the command center, the brain, for example, much faster than the information about if you inject something into the bloodstream, the time through which these chemical will reach, for example, the brain, etc., is longer than the nervous impulse. The interesting thing that these 3 systems are quite well known by general public, but the 4th system is not so well known, while it is also covering the whole body of the human being, not only of the human being. If you have ever seen red meat, you may notice that in between this red part of the meat, there's always some thin white film that is called connective tissue, fascias, ligaments, etc. So this connective tissue is covering the whole body. Wherever you cut yourself, you will find this connective tissue. And what is interesting about this connective tissue is that from some of the most recent 21st century research, this system is actually able to transfer the signal even faster than nerve. And there is a hypothesis that these energy channels or these meridians are actually transferring the signals through the connective tissue. Why this theory and hypothesis may potentially be absolutely correct? Because the connective tissue is actually built in the same way as optical fiber. So it consists of microtubes. And what is interesting about those microtubes and the optical fiber is that they have such a property called superconductivity. So when at some specific conditions, they transfer the signals much faster than when these conditions are not met. So what can you do in order to move and your blood, lymph, stimulate the lymphatic nodes and stimulate the connective tissue too? One of the main recommendations that you can do, even if you are not a medical doctor or maybe you're just a newbie in the field of integrative medicine and you're only starting with BioWell and you don't know what to tell to the client. So one of the best recommendations that you can give knowing this concept is that so what are these recommendations that you can give to a person knowing this concept of the 4 signals used to transfer the signals? It's quite simple. It's worldwide known and used by many people. This is stretching. There are so many names now. different brands under which the stretching is being sold, different Pilates or yoga exercises. And I know I'm not so familiar with all the names in this field, but there are so many systems just to do the stretching actually that leads to better transferring of the signal and henceforth better intercommunication of all the parts of the body between each other. So the better communication between all the parts of the body leads to better and higher level of integrity and wholeness of the body and the way it functions. Stretching exercises are one of the best recommendations to anyone. Even if you devote only 5-10 minutes per day on stretching, it's already a big deal. What kind of exercises you can do? Surya Namaskar, when you're trying to reach the sky and with your head and with your arms stretching from your heels up to the top of your body with full force, is also very helpful, and it's only 30 seconds, 1 minute of time that you need to do, and you can do it every morning, every evening before you're going to bed, and it already will give you lots of benefits in terms of health. And if you will recommend it to your client based on this integrative approach that BioWell recommends to everyone, that's what we are concentrated on. So based on this concept of the 4 signal systems, again, we're coming to the conclusion that in order to get better health conditions and better wellness, you have to change the lifestyle. So we are again returning back to the lifestyle, and because stretching and doing yoga on a constant, regular basis, it's a lifestyle. That's why, again, we're coming back to the lifestyle tab that has been recently added to the BioWell software in order to help you to understand which sphere of the lifestyle is number 1 priority for the person. So these concepts that I have shared with you, they are not so widely known. That's why I have shared them with you. If you want to learn the 5 elements approach, or you want to learn the 12 meridians, the TCM, Sujok, or any other acupuncture points, you want to learn the Ayurvedic approach, welcome. I'm not an Ayurvedic doctor or any other medical doctor, but this information that I have shared is not so well widespread even in internet community. That's why it's important to share it during this class. And it actually helps us to understand the point from which and the angle from which we are analyzing the state of the person with the BioWell. We are constantly using this concept of mind over matter, long-term and short-term interventions and treatments, and understanding that lifestyle and the mindset are the main priorities for everyone. And when we will be talking about what kind of conclusions and recommendations we need to give to a client based on what we see in the BioWell further on in this seminar, we should keep in mind that the best recommendations and the best conclusions are the ones that are actually changing the mindset and the lifestyle, because they are actually changing the energetic and functional state of a person in a long term, for the whole life. So they're changing the life that people live. About the official view on this concept of the lifestyle importance of WHO, World Health Organization. Take a look at these slides. So what does your health depend on based on reports? Will we come to the same conclusions as Oriental medicine? And from the point of view of WHO, your health state depends on 45 to 55% on your lifestyle, 70 to 20% on environmental conditions, so the place where you actually live near some factory and you work in the coal mine, for example, or you live in the forest near the waterfall. So then 8 to 10% the medical system, so the availability of the professional consultations from people who understand the medicine and from specialists in different fields. so that where you can get those consultations and services in the proper time. And well, only up to 8 to 10% again, genetic code. Well, many people think that our genetics are predetermined, but in fact, even epigenetics is telling that even genetic code is not so fixed thing. It, according to epigenetics, it can be reprogrammed. And there are processes of methylation and acetylation which are blocking and unblocking different chains in your DNA. So all of these things can be changed by your mind, but one of the main things, again, the mind is over matter. The mind is the main actor here. So this concept is again proving that the mind that can lead to changing the genetic code, so blocking and unblocking the change in your DNA, your understanding of the medicine and the medical system, your understanding of the importance of the environmental conditions, and understanding the lifestyle rules, it's all in your hands. It's all in your mindset and your understanding of life. And ta-da, number one top priority given by WHO to the lifestyle, 45 to 55%. So actually, no contradiction between the Western medicine approach and the Oriental approach. Both of them are telling you that mind is over matter. Psychosomatic approach rules, psychological state, mind state leads to the problems with physiological levels. So the lifestyle is the key, the biggest key to the wellness. So take this also into consideration when talking and giving some recommendations.